time a girl is gonna stay for more than just a day.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome to The Things That Matter, the voice of the community and social change in the Bahamas. I'm Kirk Johnson. We're broadcasting live on 96.9 and around the world on GuardianTalkRadio.com. It's Tuesday, Talk Your Business Tuesday. And what things do we have to talk about today? Well, post the 2012 general elections, quite a bit of talking is being done. And we wonder, how does that connect to talking your business? Well, according to the way you look at talking your business, that's very relevant. Today, to what extent did social media and marketing decide the 2012 general elections? Was it about the issues, or was it simply effective marketing and social media? What exactly is social media, by the way? That's one of the things that we need to learn today, even as I spend some time on the streets of New Providence, finding out from you your thoughts, and later this show we'll share some of the excerpts of that conversation. It was interesting to note that some people don't really understand what I mean when I say social media. Is it a new phenomenon or something that's been here for quite a while, influencing the way we do business and certainly the way we work in our everyday lives and socialize? The 2012 general elections, the recount or the official count is now in process. And at the end of the day, it looks as if it will reflect the results yesterday. The Progressive Liberal Party will lead as the next government of the Bahamas. To what extent was it about the issues, whether it relates to the Free National Movement, the Democratic National Alliance, or the Progressive Liberal Party, the Independents, and certainly the Bahamas Constitutional Party? Today, my special guests are social media experts. These are people who know what they're doing. They have their finger on the pulse of a new phenomenon around the world called social media. We'll get to know them personally today as they talk to the issues, as they talk about business. Among these persons who are in the studio include a young lady who is first known, or originally known, by her work in the entertainment industry. She honed those skills and certainly her marketing skills and launched her own company. She's the CEO of eSounds Marketing. She is Believe, and she's in the studio today. My next guest is the CEO. He's a marketing consultant, and he's also a talk show host, and he may not be so quick to acknowledge his role in certain TV productions, namely I Love School Days and other productions, but he is certainly here, and he is Antonio, and he's in the studio with us. And when we think of chemists, and I think back a couple years ago when I first heard the name Chemist. Who would name their company Chemist? Well, I certainly quickly found out that is a marketing company to certainly respect. Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group. He's the CEO. Kenneth is in the studio with us here at Guardian 96.9. Kenneth, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Please.
Hello.
And Antonio.
Kurt.
2012, and some would say it's over now. The elections is over, and we have to get back to the governing of our country. But first, the thing that everyone is talking about across radio stations and pretty much any platform where someone's voice can be heard, they're talking about the outcome and the whole process of the elections. Antonio, I'll begin with you. Your thoughts, generally.
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to yourself for an awesome show.
Thank you.
Persons are talking about the things that matter, and following your progress from ZNS and everywhere to here, I extend my congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I love the show, and I tune in as often as I need to and as often as I can, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
Thank
and as it relates to the elections, a lot of, as a first-time voter, that there was a lot of emotions involved. There was a lot of expectations, and it was a little too emotional for me, and a lot of disappointments followed. And those disappointments from a lot of persons came with thoughts of, I guess, revenge, so to speak, whereas they would say things like, the Bahamas is going to regret the choice that they made and all sorts of things. And, you know, I think that that would be such an ignorant statement to say, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is the government, the Bahamas still has to succeed. And
indeed. Antonio, Abram. Now, of course, we're going to the line in just a bit. 323-8160, 323-8160. And today we're discussing, did the issues or social media and marketing determine the results of the 2012 elections? We're also learning more about social media and how it can make or break your business, your cause, your event. This thing is powerful. We're talking about the power of social media. Believe. Your thoughts?
Well, I definitely think that social media played a huge role in this election. I think it was like, 172,000 registered voters, which is record-breaking, so that's historic. And I think that is due highly to the fact that all three of the parties tapped into the fact that social media is the way to target younger voters, and I think the numbers showed that, definitely.
Was the result of the elections based on the amount of social media that was used? And as you rightly said it, that all of the political parties, the major political parties, I should say, I'm not sure how much so the independents and the BCP rather, Bahamas Constitution Party, used social media, but certainly the three major parties did. And what were the results? Do you think it was what they gave in terms of investment was what they got back in terms of results?
Well, I guess for the winning party, it paid off. Not really knowing their standpoint in terms of their financial, but obviously their marketing team had a lot of the dollar bills behind, and that was evident from the fact that they had huge mass posters up from before the election was even called. So obviously, strategically, they planned their marketing strategy way, way in advance, and that showed in the election season. So I think it played a big role, because perception is everything in this day and time, especially in the Bahamas. Perception is everything. So I think that definitely played a huge role on the minds of the voters. It could have had, a huge impact on last-minute decisions that people made as well.
I dare to say, perception is reality almost.
I look at social media as a 24-hour party, and it never stops. And what happens is, even 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, you can join this party. And when I was about to vote yesterday, there was this lady, obviously a supporter of the FNM because she had on the paraphernalia, and she was in a sea of gold shirts. And at the end of they started to struck up a conversation, very calm, collective conversation. And at the end of the conversation, she was really questioning, why am I voting for the FNM? And that pretty much sums up, because that's not the first time that happened, that same type of conversation, and that's not the last time that happened, and that's not the only time that happened yesterday. That happened thousands of other polling stations across the Bahamas.
So you think persons at the last minute decided to move in a different direction?
Well, the point I'm trying to make is this, that social media affords an opportunity for that to happen 24/7. The conversations about the issues, as well as things that really matter to people.
It causes things.
That is profound.
It causes things to go viral instantly.
Yes.
So it moves away from the issues that actually matter, and it becomes a popularity contest, so to speak. So that's what I think happened in this election.
So here, Kenneth Munker, CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group, some things I've noticed you've done recently with your organization. You're focusing more on being able to streamline the way people are able to reach out to certain segments of the community.
Right.
Would you say that as it relates to the elections, were the respective parties able to reach who they needed to reach?
I think this time definitely, yeah, and mainly because of social media. You still saw a lot of traditional marketing, of course, the big billboards, the TV, the radio, all that stuff. You know, you don't do away with that stuff. But social media, Facebook, the Twitter, the Tumblr, the list goes on. You're seeing most of these political parties making sure they make their statement on these social media platforms. So social media, just to give you some numbers here, F&M, their official fan book page or Facebook page as fans has about a little under 2,000 fans. But then you go to PLP and they have over 12,000 fans. So you could kind of look at the numbers right there and see who had the most.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. You know, so there you go.
We're in studio today. Of course, you're listening to Guardian Radio 96.9, The Things That Matter. Now, if you want to be connected to the things that matter, whether it's issues in business, relates to your social life, to the community, realize that it all happens here. The Things That Matter here on Guardian Radio. I sit in the company of 3 social media experts, that in the person of Antonio Abram. He's a marketing consultant and talk show host. Believe. And some may know her as Margaret, but we all know her as Believe. And she is the CEO, and in fact, to give her full name, Believe Klanatsis. And she'll correct me later if I didn't say it correctly.
You got it.
Ah, there it is. 10 points for me. Ooh. I'm in office now. eSounds Marketing. And she's the CEO of eSounds Marketing. Kenneth Moncur, the CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group. We've got our finger on the pulse of what's going on in our country, and also understanding the value, the impact of social media and marketing. What exactly is this thing we call social media? We'll find out when we come back here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Small business with a pension plan or an individual planning your retirement, you need the best financial advice and partner you can get, especially in these turbulent times. That partner is CFAL. Our pension and retirement plans offer portability, professional management, low fees, multiple investment options, insurance benefits, and much, much more. Call CFAL today at 502-7010 to get us working for you. Pensions and retirement plans, another reason why CFAL should be your lifetime financial partner.
What's your daddy doing?
Planting a cedar tree.
Cedar? Oh, you mean casuarina. You know that's an invasive species from Australia, right?
Invasive? What's that?
An invasive species is usually a non-native species that's harmful to the environment, human health, or even the economy.
So this tree is bad for the Bahamas?
Yes, babe. Go Bahamian. Go plant some cocoa plum or sea grape or something.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas National Trust and the Jeff Small Grants Program.
Welcome back to The Things That Matter, the voice of the community and social change in the Bahamas. Broadcasting live today on Guardian Radio 96.9 and around the world on GuardianTalkRadio.com. I'm Kirk Johnson, and The Things That Matter is about the things that matter to you. If it's something that matters to you in business, in the community, whatever it has to do in relationships, we're going to make sure that we make that connection and address it. Today, post the 2012 general elections, we ask ourselves a question: is it on the issues or marketing and social media that determine the results of the elections? We're going to connect with you in a bit. The means to connect to the show is 323-6232 and 323-8160. That number again, those numbers again, 323-6232 and 323-8160. My special guests today, in the person of the CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group, Kenneth Munker. Also Believe Glenatsis, the CEO of eSounds Marketing, and marketing consultant and talk show host Antonio Abram. I start with you, Believe, or as we continue our conversation. There are a lot of things that influence the way we do what we do, and you made mention of it, that billboarding and other platforms influence our decisions. But when we talk about marketing as a whole, even when we talk about social media, for those of us who don't necessarily know what that is, help paint that picture for us.
Well, when you think media is a form of communication. So when you say social media, that's basically the avenues like internet, websites, radio, newspapers, TV, all the social networks like Camus mentioned, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, even YouTube, because those were used effectively in the campaigns as well. So all those are different avenues that you can actually communicate to your voters, listeners, viewers.
eSounds Marketing Group, a little bit about your company and what you do.
Well, eSounds Marketing is a pretty young company, been around for maybe about a year now, but really starting to get out. Basically what we do, we're just a one-stop company. You come to us and in terms of putting together your marketing for your company, we could do anything from radio ads to jingles to TV commercials to promos to marketing campaigns, graphics. We have partner companies, that we collaborate with. So basically when you come to us, you don't have to go to anybody else.
What's interesting, you mentioned formally your company may have started about a year or so ago, but I know of your work for quite a while, even perhaps before you took the title. Cinderella Shoe Store, for example.
Oh, wow.
I heard a commercial that you produced,
yeah,
and I was very impressed. It easily could have been produced somewhere else outside of the Bahamas, particularly the U.S.
Yeah.
When I listened to the creativity, the content, the flow, the way it was mixed, and even attention to the length of it, because 28.5 seconds, 28.3 seconds.
You're deep.
Yeah, because those are the things that organizations, for example, in the Bahamas to an extent, but certainly in the United States, when you talk about radio and productions, it's either done right or it's not done at all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If it's over, that will get cut off.
Or not aired.
Exactly.
Yes. You're correct. So here it is. We look at the elections as it stands now, and folks are either celebrating the moment or they're lamenting what actually happened. When I look at the number of times that I went to my Facebook account, in fact, on my Google searches, I'm looking for information, and at the bottom right-hand of it, I saw commercials promoting, in most instances, it was the Progressive Liberal Party. At times, it was the F&M. And I'm like, my goodness gracious, there's a whole lot of money that's invested in this elections. Now, it was said in the previous election by some, I gather, political pundits and marketing pundits as well, that it was the other way around. It seemed as if the Progressive Liberal Party had not given that much attention to marketing and promotions and PR, and the Free National Movement did out of the gate. Do you think that as it apparently has today, 5 years ago, there was a similar influence by marketing and social media?
Well, if you really think about it and take a look at the campaigns, strategically everything has changed from 5 years ago, because I think the parties have realized that this is a new generation of people. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of new voters out there, and they have to appeal to them. The older, more settled voters, they're already set in their mindset. They know they're either voting PLP, FM, or whatever third party they choose. But with the younger voters, they know that strategically they had to change everything from the look. Everything had to be more modernized. If you look at it, everything from the graphics is more modernized, the sound, the visuals and the video ads and promo stuff, everything is modernized. So everything is totally different, 100% different from 5 years ago.
What were some of the ads, whether they were by any of the political parties that really stood out, and the platform that you found it on? Because, yes, television certainly was one of the mediums that was used extensively, but others. Anything that stood out to you?
Well, you can look at the three major parties obviously was FNM, PLP, and DNA. You can look at those let's say the TV commercials, for instance, and see who paid big bucks.
I was told, and perhaps Kenneth would weigh into this, Robert Moore, who's a CEO of a company based in New York, he was here last year in March, I believe it was, and they were talking about the value of social media and how it could reach out to the community. And he said in order to be effective in social media and other platforms influence, he went as far as to say 25 decisions. When we talk about marketing as a whole, when we talk about social media, Facebook, for those of us who don't necessarily know what that is, platforms, 25 times a day, that's some serious commitment.
Think about it. If you take Facebook, Twitter,
so when you say
YouTube,
social media,
out of the
that's
selection,
basically the avenues, like
I think those numbers are going to
drastically
go lower, and I think the
social
outcome
networks like Kenneth mentioned, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, even
Think
YouTube, because those were
interestingly enough,
used
just before I
effectively in
came
the
here
campaigns as
today,
well. So
I
all
spoke
those are different
with
avenues that you can actually
I call it getting the feedback from folks in the public, and quite a number of persons
a little bit about your company,
the issues.
Well, Eason's marketing is
the tendency was that those persons who did, I mean, not saying that it wasn't on the issues, but I'm just talking about, I'm looking at age
basically what we
differences
do, we're just a
and I
one-stop
realized that
company.
when I spoke to someone younger,
in terms of
the subject of social media immediately became a part of the conversation. Like, wow, for everyone else who isn't a part of the social media revolution, you just missed it. You may have been influenced without knowing it in some form or the other.
So basically, when you come to us,
it's almost like you have being a part of this membership. And we think of the population of our country, where most persons are below 35 years of age. So,
for quite a while,
is it then to say you believe that those who
Cinderella
were able to access the younger audience through social media, then
and I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, if you just go strictly from online, like how Cameron said, I think the FM had like maybe 2,000 likes on their page. The DNA has about maybe 6,000, 7,000, and the PLP had 12,000.
So how come the DNA didn't get at least some seeds? I mean, they had. If we were to use the number of likes on their Facebook page, the DNA should 6,000. I mean, that's some big numbers. I wouldn't mind that on my page. They just launched one 2 days ago.
It's support. It's good support, but at the end of the day, I mean, they didn't have an impact on certain seats. I mean, they didn't win any seats, but the numbers show it. Whether they took them from FNM or PLP, however you want. Yes. At the end of the day, they still did show up.
And they did.
Yeah, they did show up.
And interestingly enough, in some of the political analysis, both Darren Miller and Jeff and other persons on other platforms have talked about the fact that they did influence the DNA, that is, did influence the numbers and the outcomes, and that, like it or not, they if they approach it the right way, that they have a political future. So that, again, I leave it to the political pundits. I'm not so much so interested in that, but certainly in the way, in this sense, how social media and marketing influenced the way things panned out. And you talked about, well, you know what? When we come back, it's interesting how quickly time goes, but that's okay. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with 3 social media pundits. These are the experts who know how to work it and to make it work well. Believe Planatsis, CEO of eSounds Marketing. Kenneth Munker, he's the CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group. And marketing consultant and talk show host Antonio Abram, also TV producer of I Love School Days. When we come back, that and so much more. Also, what happened today in the history of the Bahamas? You may be amazed to know it had something to do with a torch. But we're not talking politics. I'll tell you when we come back. Right here on The Things That Matter, Guardian Radio 96.9.
Whether you're a small business with a pension plan or an individual planning your retirement, you need the best financial advice and partner you can get, especially in these turbulent times. That partner is CFAL. Our pension and retirement plans offer portability, professional management, low fees, multiple investment options, insurance benefits, and much, much more. Call CFAL today at 502-7010 to get us working for you. Pensions and retirement plans. Another reason why CFAL should be your lifetime financial partner.
What's your daddy doing?
Planting a cedar tree.
Cedar? Oh, you mean casuarina. You know that's an invasive species from Australia, right?
Invasive? What's that?
An invasive species is usually a non-native species that's harmful to the environment, human health, or even the economy.
So this tree is bad for the Bahamas?
Yes, Faye. Go Bahamian. Go plant some cocoa plum or sea grape or something.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas National Trust and the Jeff Small Grants Program.
Well, hello, Bahamas. This is Will and Tasha introducing you to a brand new show on a brand new station. We invite you to join us every Sunday afternoon from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on 96.9, The Guardian Network.
Join us for a dynamic new show, Beyond the Vows, where we tackle real life, relationships, marriages, love, all of it, beyond the vows.
This is a live show, so we hope to hear from you.
Too many people and cars in this town. Oh yeah. Jam up together like sardines in a can. In the city there is too much strife. That's why I prefer the island life. So I'll park my bike, get some mail. I going back home. Going back home where the cool breeze blows, where the palm trees grow. Going back to the island, man, land of the sea and sun. Back home. Back on the island, you don't worry about a thing, man. No. Island people, them treat you like a king. Laying on the beach under a coconut tree. Just my island gal and me.
Welcome back to The Things That Matter. I'm Kirk Johnson with you here on Guardian Radio 96.9, the voice of the community and social change of the Bahamas, in my special guest corner, if you will, at least as we sit at the table. Social media experts, we'll speak with them some more as we find out what exactly is social media, how did it influence the outcome of the 19, well, should I say 19? Wow, how did I get there?
Yeah.
The 2012 general elections, and how can it make or break your company? If you're wondering how to use social media, what it is, or how to maximize what it is, we're going to talk with you, certainly more about that in just a minute. We have the headlines coming up in just a moment, but first, we want to take a quick look at today in the history of the Bahamas. The year was 1868. The May 8th, 1886 edition of the Nassau Guardian and Bahama Islands Advocate and Intelligencer reported the laying of the cornerstone of the present-day St. Matthew's Anglican Church, located on Shirley and Church Streets. The construction at that time extended the original building to the east, the north, and the south. The contractor was Mr. F.J. Arner, who was awarded the contract. Also, 1952 was the year, also May 8th. The Bahamas Olympic Association was formed. It would later change its name to the Bahamas Olympic Committee. The drive to form the Bahamas Olympic Association grew from the Bahamian excitement of potential yachtmen, Dorward Knowles and Sloan Farrington, to compete in the 1948 Olympics. The two had placed third in the Star Class World Championships in Havana in 1946. They went on to win the Star Class Spring Championships in the Bahamas in 1947 and medaled at the World Championship in California in 1948. However, they were not allowed to represent the Bahamas in the 1948 Olympics, as the Bahamas had no affiliation with either the International Yacht Racing Association or the International Olympic Committee. They were only able to represent Great Britain through the British Olympic Committee. Well, against all odds, the duo performed well and missed a medal by placing a fourth place. On May 8, 1952, prominent sports leaders and the members of the Bahamas House of Assembly met to form the Bahamas Olympic Association. Mere months later, Sloan Farrington and Sir Dorward Knowles represented the Bahamas at the 1952 Helsinki Olympic Games. Sir Dorward Knowles and Sloan Farrington went on to win a bronze medal at the 1956 Olympic Game in Melbourne, Australia, and a gold medal with Cecil Cook as crew in Tokyo in 1964. Well, today is May 8th, 2012, 60 years later. They're just 15 days before the reconvening of the House of Assembly on May 23rd, 2012. I'm Kirk Johnson, and you're listening to The Things That Matter here on Guardian Radio 96.9. News Headlines is next with Taylor Ferguson Gay.
Time after time, I've done my sentence.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. You're listening to the Guardian News Network. Here's what's making news at this hour. Parliamentary officials are still conducting that official recount of yesterday's election ballots, and Prime Minister-elect Perry Christie is expected to be sworn in at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, police are continuing their investigations into a double murder. A mother and her son were killed last night. Police confirmed the incident occurred around 11 last night in the Blue Hill and Dunmore Avenue area. We're told an argument erupted between the occupants of a Honda Inspire and the male victim in the case. Police say the mother was then shot multiple times. She died at the scene. Police say the son attempted to stop the car, but the gunman subsequently shot him to death. Police are now searching for 3 men in connection with that double murder. And that's a look at what's making news. Stay tuned to the Guardian News Network for updates on the hour. Enjoy your day.
What's your daddy doing?
Planting a cedar tree.
Cedar? Oh, you mean casuarina. You know that's an invasive species from Australia, right?
Invasive? What's that?
An invasive species is usually a non-native species that's harmful to the environment, human health, or even the economy.
So this tree is bad for the Bahamas?
Yes, babe. Go Bahamian. Go plant some cocoa plum or sea grape or something.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas National Trust and the Jeff Small Grants Program.
What if your teenage son is driving now? An important milestone, but as a parent, the next step is either purchasing a vehicle for him or letting him use yours. Now that's a scary proposition. Thankfully, your Kalina General Auto Policy can cover him while he's on the road. And if he's an offender bender, well, there's first response, free accident assistance to get him back on the road and home safely. Now what time he gets home? Well, that's another issue. Kalina General, home, auto, marine, commercial, liability. Protect your dreams.
AP Update. I'm Sandy Kozel. Senate Republicans have derailed a Democratic bill aimed at keeping interest rates on federal college loans from doubling on July 1st. Howard University student Clarice McCann says a lower student loan interest rate would help her and other students continue their higher education.
If the Stafford loan rate doubles this year, it will make college more expensive next year and add to my overall debt level. That additional money could be used instead towards my dream of earning a graduate degree and working to make sure education becomes a right and not a privilege in America.
Senator Jack Reed says Democrats are open to hearing new ideas on how to keep student loan interest rates from doubling.
We're open. If someone comes up with sufficient resources to get the job done, that's in a way that's acceptable, I think we'd be the first to say, let's go.
Republicans say they favor preventing the interest rate increase, but they oppose how Democrats would pay for it. AP Update. I'm Sandy Kozel.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Welcome back to The Things That Matter here on Guardian Radio 96.9, the voice of the community and social change here on The Things That Matter. I'm Kirk Johnson. My special guests, the CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group, Kenneth Munker, also Believe Glenatzis, CEO of eSounds Marketing, and the marketing consultant and producer of the I Love School Days TV show, Antonio Abram. It's interesting that I used your last name, Believe, and I believe I did it correctly.
You sure did?
I sure did, and I feel good about that. That's
My
probably
mom's
why I'm
listening, so she's probably smiling. Hi, Mommy.
Sounds good. And we're talking about how social media is affecting the way we do what we do. And I know, Antonio, you was talking a moment ago about some of the speed with which social media allows us to communicate. And then also, Kenneth, with your work, you are about connecting folks. I mean, I've seen everything from Marco's Pizza to a number of other platforms that you've used to promote through campus. I mean, so many other organizations. Where did that whole idea come from? Where did this whole thing come from? Chemist and Lionfish.
Well, Chemist came from just me and a few of my email friends, and I just put everybody on a list. I put everybody on a list. I was deep in the entertainment myself here with Believe and a school of others. And I just kept everybody on one list and would send them entertainment news, promote the musicians here to the rest of musicians, let everybody know what's going on. And it kind of started to grow, and small business was like, hey, can I send my business out to your list? And it grew and grew and grew, and it is where it is today, 8 years later, for chemist.net.
8 years later, how many folks are you able to reach through your platform?
Well, we're sending over 600,000 emails per month, and we service over 30,000 emails.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I need to get access to that.
That's a lot. It's a lot of reach.
No, that's really interesting. How important and how effective have you found social media to be for the work that you do? And it's a business, correct?
It's a business.
Right.
It's very complementing. I do email marketing and target email marketing. I specialize in target email marketing. But as email marketing grows here in the Bahamas, social media, especially Facebook, is just skyrocketing. So what we're doing is we're just taking the email platform, what we're doing now, and just putting it on social. So the same ad that we were sending out to over 30,000 persons, we're now putting it on Facebook and making it viral so you can get more of a reach.
Viral.
More mass, more viral.
For those of us who don't know what viral means, I know it's not a virus.
No, it's not. It's something like it.
It could be just like a virus.
Antonio. Yeah, viral really is the act of something going trendy.
Right.
Whether it's a video, it's mainly content. Whether it's a video, a photo. Like, for example, we're talking about the reach of social media and how it helped and aided the political parties to either win or get some footing in the demographics. Mm-hmm. And two things that I saw happen, and just to kind of preempt that, I find that social media really gets its strength from, well, let me put it this way. I wasn't entirely pleased with how the mainstream media handled the political campaign. Like, for example, some of the information that needed to be presented to the people to help them with informed decisions, they weren't really researched. They weren't really investigated as mainstream media should. Like, for example, I saw a reporter or a journalist, whatever. I don't know if there's any real journalists in this country, but they
now, you're on the Guardian Radio. You want to make that statement?
What I mean is that you need to do real serious investigation.
Okay,
like,
talk to me.
Get down in the dirt. I wanted to hear things about some of the allegations, like, for example. And in order for you to really get that information, you need to dig. And one of the stories that was kind of getting some footing, but it was kind of brushed off, was the story about how much money is spent in the political campaigns. And
that is something
I would have probably looked at, get a basic estimate as to how much T-shirts, for example, how much T-shirts were distributed, how much each of those T-shirts cost per person, the flags, how many flags, the sound guy, how much you had to pay the sound guy, the stage, how much you had to to pay for the stage, the broadcasting on ZNS and Cable 12, and find out all of these costs and pull it all together and bring a basic estimate to the people as to how much you think it costs for these persons to run a campaign. But none of that was done. You just asked the gentleman a question, and he didn't tell you how much they spent on the campaign. I mean,
that is a good. Actually, that's thought provoking. The need to access. Now, the Freedom of Information Act may provide a means by which the public can now go back once that process is complete. Rather, the public can then go and find out. Listen, the campaign trail is complete, and if I estimated $3 per shirt, if I got it in bulk, and let's say there were 10,000 shirts purchased, we're looking at about $30,000 just for shirts alone, but you would have access to some of that information. So you see that as something that's important, and that social media should have also been used as a platform.
And
for that.
that's something that political parties really don't want persons to know per se, because people will always come with the assertion that money that you spend, those millions of dollars that you spend on rally, the ads, the ZNS, the this, that, and the next, that could have been used to feed people. And people don't really understand the business behind it. So that's why political parties would want to keep that information hush hush. But at the same time, it's the job of the journalist to really bring that information to the people. And social media, on the other hand, provided a platform for persons to really discuss and to really engage in that type of conversation. You have groups with thousands of people. A lot of it is...
Make mention of some of those sites where that kind of discussion...
There's one called Believe.
Yes.
There's a group called Believe.
It's not my site, by the way.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Little disclaimer.
And there's a few others. Election 2012. And the conversations, really, a lot of it, I was listening to the Guardian radio, which I do very often, and Ms. Hart in the morning, she mentioned that a lot of it is regurgitative information that people spew out from the rallies and bring it onto social media. But when somebody brings a methodical approach to something, it really raises heads and really raises questions. And that's what social media does, because it kind of compensates for the job that the mainstream media is supposed to be doing.
But how do you determine between what's just say so and that's my opinion, so I said it, and I say it as almost as if it's fact? I can say, that let's think of a term, a word that we may use. And for the person who doesn't necessarily know that discombobulated, means some level of confusion, and may think that means you're happy, and somebody goes around and says, yes, I'm discombobulated. I'm happy, but really what it means is you're confused. And so how do we determine the difference between what's propaganda through social media and what's actual facts?
You got to research.
Exactly.
You really do.
You got to further research. I mean, the social media there is mainly, for your entertainment. You go there, you find out what's going on, but, don't take it to the bank. You have to go ahead and dig further and, like he says, get into the dirt,
Exactly. And another part of social media that I thought really helped the political parties is the entertainment side of things, the pop culture. You would see stuff like they would take pictures, like regular pictures of politicians, and they're in conversation, and they would freeze frame it and put their own text to it. Like this one I'm looking at right now. It's a picture of Mr. Ingram and Mr. Christie, and it seems to me as if they're having a nice casual conversation. Somebody put some text there. It's like almost like a cartoon, and the text is like, "Perry, I thought I had this one, and friend, this was a hologram." And it just has a bunch of different pop culture implications to it, because it's really funny, and there's a funny bone in the Bahamian society, and social media really tickles that.
I think that could be a really thin line.
Right. When does it go too far, I believe?
I think it really went, my personal opinion, I think it really went too far in this election, because it took away from the real issues. As soon as some sort of propaganda or scandal came up, instead of tackling the issues, we made fun of it. So we made humor of something that was really serious. So that means the real underlying issues got swept under the rug.
Definitely.
And it became something funny.
So when we come back to the things that matter, were the issues ever addressed during this political season? Or was there just a whole lot of mud slinging and everybody's dirty? We'll find out when we come back. No innuendo meant there, by the way. And when we come back, we'll continue this conversation with our social media experts, Antonio Abram, Believe Glenatzis, and Kenneth Munker on the things that matter. If it matters to you, it's a thing that matters. We'll be back right after this.
Your teenage son is driving now, an important milestone, but as a parent, the next step is either purchasing a vehicle for him or letting him use yours. Now that's a scary proposition. Thankfully, your Kalina General Auto Policy can cover him while he's on the road. And if he's an offender bender, well, there's first response, free accident assistance to get him back on the road and home safely. Now what time he gets home? Well, that's another issue. Kalina General. Home, auto, marine, commercial, liability. Protect your dreams.
Every day, ProTech is there for our customers with an easy way to arm and disarm your system. With our professional operators and technicians on standby 24 hours per day to assist with any emergency, whether it's fire, burglary, flood, or medical emergency, we are there when you need us most. Call now at 325-3335 and receive a free quote and save 20% on any basic alarm or CCTV system. ProTech Security, where customer security is our surety.
I called ProTech Security for an alarm system because my neighbors had a break-in, but ProTech protected me from more than just burglaries. You see, I was at a meeting when the fire started, and fortunately for me, ProTech received the signal and called the fire department, saving my home and the most important things in it.
Call ProTech Security at 325-3335 for your free home security evaluation today. ProTech Security, where customer security is our surety.
Welcome to the Things That Matter here on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Kirk Johnson. And as you know, the things that matter is about the voice of the community and certainly social change in our country. We look at, on Tuesdays, we look at business, Talk Your Business Tuesdays. And as a part of that conversation, to what extent did social media and marketing decide the 2012 general elections? We're also going to find out how can social media make or break your business, your event, or your cause. Certainly a very important thing. And can social media also be used to help stimulate the healing process in our country post the 2012 general elections? My special guests today, Believe Glenatzis, CEO of eSounds Marketing, Kenneth Munker, CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group, and marketing consultant and TV producer Antonio Abram, here on Guardian 96.9. Kenneth, everyone's talking about social media, even if we don't necessarily know what that means. And if I have a cause, if I'm promoting a backyard barbecue, say for a bunch of friends, or I want to eliminate hunger from the country, or I'm having the T Connection concert, which is, by the way, in the next week, I believe. How do I harness social media to get those kinds of results?
Well, the person who would be in charge, the marketing coordinator, if she wants to or he wants to use social media to get the word out, first thing.
I mean, should you use social media or can you get away without it?
I mean, you can, but if you want to do it the most cost-effective way, I think social media is the way to go. You could save a lot of bucks. You could start with creating a Facebook page. Get your Facebook page, get some pictures of the event, and pictures of whatever it is you're promoting. Start inviting friends, and that's how you start to get social. You know, you get into the social networks. And from that page, everywhere you promote, whether it's an email blast, whether it's television, you promote the Facebook page because that is your portal to get your word to the masses, to your masses. And then you continue to grow. More fans come on, more people like it, so they're interested in your content, and they get more of it, and they share it, they tell their friends, and next thing you know, you have like 500 people at your party, and you spent $15 on some Facebook ads.
Facebook ads. And you mentioned a moment ago, and it sounds ideal. You said I spent $15 and I got 500 people. Is that
possible?
Yes.
Yes. You have little college kids and high school kids who promote solely, and they don't even do Facebook ads. They just do word of mouth. They do Facebook events. It's free. You set up your little flyer, you put your information, and you send it out and invite all your friends. And that's word of mouth.
Believe, why is marketing even important? I mean,
branding. To take, for instance, my company, eSounds Marketing, I have not done one radio ad for my company, not one TV commercial as yet. When I started, like I said, over maybe like a year ago, I started exactly how Kemma said. I created a Facebook page. I invited my guests to join, and I just branded myself, and from there word of mouth spread, referrals, and I've done jingles and commercials for John Bull, BTC, Wendy's, Marco's, Clark's, and similar.
And this is without using a penny for traditional advertising.
This is without spending $1. $1.
And you use Facebook, a free platform.
Exactly.
Facebook can do that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And my start is a tad bit different. And normally, what I would suggest to my clients is that you use the medium that's going to work for you. And I started off marketing with companies when I was in high school in the 11th grade through a school newspaper, and I was selling the ads for the newspaper, and that's how I started to build my network from when I was about 16 or 15. In high school, and the Guardian actually was one of those entities that helped me get the newspaper started. So
wow, okay.
so no
2 thumbs up.
So no kicks to the Guardian whatsoever. But they really helped me and really gave me a crash course as to how to go about selling ads. And in connecting with business people, I realized that they need marketing services, and a lot of the emerging medias like social media was just coming about, and so that's how I connected with them and gave them marketing advice as to how to go about using new media to promote their business, whether it's their business products or an event or just a cause. And we use those to create that traction.
Can social media make or break a business, a company, a cause?
Definitely. This is because the rules of social media isn't really set, for example, by Mark Zuckerberg. It's set by the people.
And when you say Mark, you're talking about
the
Facebook.
creator of Facebook.
Yes.
And the rules are pretty much simple for businesses. You don't blatantly pitch and sell on social media. It's a social media. You use that to connect with people. There are certain ways that you mediums and stratagems that you use on social media to get that traction that you're looking for. And the minute you use the radio approach or the television approach on social media, you're going to get banned and cancelled, and you won't create that traction because it's a social platform. You use pictures, you use content, you use videos, you use posts, and you consistently, like Cam has said, you consistently connect with your base. And in addition to that, social media provides an opportunity for people to talk back to you, because before social media, businesses normally use blogs and community sites, but now on social media you can send information, as well as your customers have an opportunity to send information back to you.
It's a free form of advertising. Like, for instance, if I were to post a jingle that I've done, someone will listen to it, they will click like, and then they will click share it on their page, which means somebody from their friends list might listen to it and like it and share it to another person, and that's how it becomes viral.
Keeps going on.
Any viral videos that's come out of the Bahamas?
Oh, yeah, man.
One came out last night.
That was a viral.
It was starring
a viral.
May I?
Yes, please.
It was-
There's a viral video out of the Bahamas. Now, just before you air it, before you share it with us, when is and when we say viral, I gather in this case we're talking about YouTube. When does a product become viral? Is it a certain number of hits? Is it because it becomes
its reach? Yeah,
popular.
It's definitely
once
reach.
it's past 100, or is it 1,000? Does it make a difference in terms of number?
Well, some numbers can be lower than others, but the reach itself can be massive. Like, for example, if you look at, and I like to use Collage Entertainment, Stop Like in Man, like those guys, they set the pace for viral videos in the Bahamas.
Thousands of hits.
Exactly.
10,000. Well, I'm trying to remember the number, but it's pretty high. Yeah.
And when it first came out, I saw guys on the side of the road trying to just really tuning in and using the slang and everything else that was going on. And so it was really a phenomenon. And it goes back to the point that on social media, you have to really interact the audience. You can't just go and blatantly pitch and sell.
You have to
attract
say the
them.
right
Exactly.
thing.
Engage them.
Like, for instance, just now I posted up a status. Were the political issues and scandals concerns ever really addressed in this election? And in less than 5 minutes, I have about looks like maybe 7 people just having going back and forth. So there's a forum, so to speak, going on my page.
Yeah, let's read some
instantly.
of those. Let's read some of the feedback.
Someone says time will tell. Another person says yes, they were addressing all of the issues, and we heard how Papa tried to turn everything into a scandal. Welcome to politics in the Bahamas. Another person says, man, the rallies are just meant to get people riled up. Everything would be addressed in full in manifesto, and it just goes on. Nothing ever gets addressed, just reflected. And another person says, move on, FNM, it's time to move on. So, like, in less than 5 minutes, these people are having a major discussion on my page.
And so imagine if that was your company, your business, and you posted some service that you're introducing, and you have a dialogue of 7 persons right down your page. You could put them to the side and mark them, and say, okay, well, these are 7 persons I know for sure interested in my product. Let's take it a step further. Let's give them a call, or let's open some kind of dialogue with them. that's a customer for life.
And also, social media then becomes a platform to understand the way people view the service you're offering.
Your culture, for sure. It's the best way to show what your culture of your country of your company is.
The value of social media can't really be dollar value. Reason being is because the feedback you get from social media, you can't really pay for it, because if somebody doesn't like your product or service, if they go on your social media site and post that, that's great, because chances are they didn't express that to somebody else who's your potential customer and really killed your bottom line. So you can literally address that particular person's issue, because the reality is you're not going to serve excellent service to everybody that comes to your door, and the persons that you are completely 100% satisfied, if they go to social media and post to you, then you now have an open door to correct and apologize or do whatever you need to win that customer back and stop that customer from really evangelizing the bad service that they experience.
Has social media become the new phenomenon? And is it that for businesses, organizations, and individuals that are not a part of the Facebook phenomenon and other social media phenomenon, are you slipping behind? Remember the advent of the computer, and it was said, listen, if you want to be a part of the nowness, you need to know how to use a computer. Is it now about social media? When we come back, we'll talk more about the influence, the presence, the importance of social media to the nowness of your business, to your cause, to your event. My special guests are social media experts. They are certainly taking us through quite an amazing journey. The CEO of Chemist and Lionfish Marketing Group, Kenneth Munker, also marketing consultant and TV producer, Antonio Abram. And if you've heard about I Love School Days, if you haven't, you should. It's a great program airing on Cable 12. Tonight. And yes, of course, it's tonight, because it's Tuesday night.
Yeah, if we're on bombed by some political something.
Tonight on Cable 12. Of course, you want to make sure to be a part of that. It's an awesome, well-produced program. And the young lady who first used the power of music to get our attention, and then she showed us, well, she's more than just music. And music is important, by the way. Believe Glenatsis, CEO of eSounds Marketing, They're all here with me today as we talk about the things that matter. Among those things on Talk Your Business Tuesdays, to what extent did social media and marketing decide the 2012 general elections? How can social media make or break your business, your event, or your cause? Right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. I'm Kirk Johnson. We'll be back right after this.
Life's journey can be unpredictable. Each turn in the road brings its own challenges. At Kalina, we offer straightforward life, health, and financial planning that can put your life on a secure path to success. Kalina can help you achieve a balance between living your life to the fullest today and saving for a bright future tomorrow. Enhance your quality of life and secure your family's financial future with Kalina. Life, health, mortgage, investments, retirement. Kalina. Confidence for life.
Every day, ProTech is there for our customers with an easy way to arm and disarm your system. With our professional operators and technicians on standby 24 hours per day to assist with any emergency, whether it's fire, burglary, flood, or medical emergency, we are there when you need us most. Call now at 325-3335 and receive a free quote and save 20% on any basic alarm or CCTV system. ProTech Security, where customer security is our surety.
I called Protect Security for an alarm system because my neighbors had a break-in, but Protect protected me from more than just burglaries. You see, I was at a meeting when the fire started, and fortunately for me, Protect received the signal and called the fire department, saving my home and the most important things in it.
Call Protect Security at 325-3335 for your free home security evaluation today. Protect Security, where customer security is our surety.
And social media that determined the outcome of the 2012 election.
My honest opinion is I think what really caused the election for the FNM was the two boldness of Alexander and trying to be the one-man band and anyone listening to what the people say. People say don't sell BTC, well, hold it off, don't sell it. You don't want to do what the people do. And another thing, I vote DNA, but I'm supporting the new government, which Jerry Bayman should do. But if the PLP don't do right, come next 5 years, it can be the same thing to them. So just hats off that they do the best. That's it.
The marketing and social media, of course, because they really didn't talk about issues. They only were blasting each other on the radio, on their ads, on everything else, but it was never really about the issues.
Welcome back to The Things That Matter, the voice of the community and social change here in the Bahamas, live on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming around the world on GuardianTalkRadio.com. I'm Kirk Johnson. My special guests today, they are social media pundits, marketing professionals that are doing some amazing things in our country. Antonio Abram, Kenneth Munker, and Believe Ganatzis here as we discuss the power of social media. And Antonio, when we talk about social media, what are some of the platforms, especially the ones that people can readily identify with?
Well, the pages, especially for businesses, as we talk about businesses specifically, the pages, when you create a page, that is where you draw your fan base. And I liken it to a distribution channel, whereas, for example, the Guardian Radio is a distribution channel, and businesses pay the Guardian Radio to get access to their distribution channel, and they pay per 60 seconds, per 30 seconds, and they pay persons like Believe, exactly, and they pay persons like Believe to produce the material to get access to that distribution channel. Now, on the pages, for example, Facebook, you have a distribution channel that is completely yours, and you never really have to pay for access to that distribution channel as long as you create it. So once you create a page, let's just say Kirk Johnson Worldwide. That's your motivational, inspirational network that you have.
Yes.
You create that, and you get it up to, well, I Love School Days is about almost 7,000. And that's a distribution channel that I don't have to pay for any longer to get access to. That's there, and every time I need to update persons on what happened on the show, when the show is coming on, and that sort of thing, I don't have to pay somebody else for access to their distribution channel. I go to mine, and it's there.
That can be somewhat intimidating for somebody who may not know Facebook or YouTube or Tumblr or
that's fine.
Some of the other,
and that's fine and perfect. The way around that, and seriously, the way around that is to pay persons like myself and Lionfish Marketing over there to make sure that you get that platform solid.
You know what? And here goes. When people think about how they pay for services or other things in their business, marketing traditionally is the first thing that gets cut when there is a limited budget. Is that to the disadvantage of a company, a cause, or an event?
I don't think that is a good idea for a lot of businesses. I really disagree with that act. And persons do it mainly they believe that they can survive off the clientele that they have currently. But the reality is you need to market to get the funds, to get the bottom line, whether you continue to break even or whether you look to break new grounds in the marketplace. And so cutting off your marketing lifeline really isn't a smart idea, because what you can do is cut back on it and analyze it. If it's crunch time and you need to crunch the numbers and shed some expenses, then you need to look at your marketing budget and see what are the dynamics of that particular budget that can be cut without really affecting your bottom line. And once you come to that conclusion, then I think you would be in a good place to move forward. Otherwise, cutting the marketing budget entirely just isn't a smart business move.
The CEO of Doctors Hospital, who I've had on the show, Charles Seeley, may be listening, and they have a marketing department, and from every indicator they're doing a great job. They have a Facebook presence. I don't know what the traction is like on that Facebook page. Are you and Believe and Kenneth, all of your respective companies, saying to whether it's a doctor's hospital or perhaps an organization that may not be as well known, that to ignore social media is not to their advantage, and that perhaps to reach out to you, even if only in a consulting capacity, we can help you do more?
Absolutely,
yes.
Because the reality is you need, the Bible says in a council, in a group of counselors, there's wisdom.
But I want $50,000.
You don't need that.
Exactly, exactly. You don't need $50,000 to get to. It's 2012, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
And technology is there, and there are technologies that are untapped in the Bahamas, and the Bahamas is so small and so connected all at the same time that reaching people isn't really that difficult, honestly. It isn't, and you don't have to break the bank to do it.
Right around the corner, I believe, is a food store, and I'm going into my mind to remember. Lucky Food Store is the name of it. But there are many other stores that's in the immediate vicinity, both larger stores like a Super Value down the road, and there's Wilmark Pharmacy north of that would be east of where our studios are located, the Nassau Guardian. The fact is we have companies all around. Is that to say that if I want to get the word out on my company, that I don't have to necessarily spend a lot of money, whether or not I even have a marketing person in a company? I'll start with this. If a company has a marketing representative and he or she is not astute in social media, is it time for that person to move on and for that company perhaps to move on?
I don't think they should move. I think they just need to get somebody in there to consult, because it's not brain surgery or anything like that. It's a few steps, and you have to utilize the steps to get the results. You get in what you put in, you get out what you put in. So When you're a small company and you don't have no branding, no logo, no none of those things, the first thing you need to do, of course, is get some of that stuff done. You need to get an artwork. You need to get your logo. Once you get that stuff, put it on your Facebook page and start sharing it around. Regardless, you
Even a
have
slogan.
one client. I'm telling you, within the month, you will have more than one client.
So what? What is going to do that? Just because they posted on Facebook, or what?
Well, see, now in 2012, everybody looks for information on the internet. You know, so if your company is able to be found on the internet, on Google search engine, and most likely it will be your Facebook page, or unless you have a website. Unless you have a website, a good website. You don't want to scare them away when they get there. But at least Facebook is uniform, and once it's updated. Oh, they updated this 2 days ago. They're alive. Where's the phone number? Let me call them. And now you have somebody interested in whatever product or service you have. Take away the Facebook page. They got to go to the yellow pages. They have to ask a friend. It takes longer for them to get to your store.
So social media is almost like the cable that connects people. It's like the telephone, but the updated version of the telephone. I can reach you now.
Yeah, you could not only reach, you can see them. You know, the telephone is just somebody telling you something.
And we live in an age where people don't like to read.
Yeah, we want to see.
Everything is visually stimulating. You know, and I think branding is very, very important. You have to brand your company, whether it's a sound, whether it's the look, the slogan, the logo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to be consistent and uniformed. You know, in our economy, everything is very competitive, and marketing will give you that edge.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm listening to the radio and I'm driving and I'm hungry and I hear, let's say, a Wendy's commercial, and I'm hungry at the time, where am I? I'm going to be more inclined to go to Wendy's.
That's the branding.
You know, so that's branding. Or if you brand your company good, when I hear that sound, like let's say McDonald's,
yeah,
I know that's McDonald's.
You see golden arches.
Exactly. Okay. I want to eat McDonald's now.
Right.
So you know, branding is a serious thing, and it plays on the mindset, and it brings sound, visual, everything together.
So branding is so important, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a well-established company that says, I realize that there's going to be value in me getting my name out. Let's suppose there is a mom-and-pop store, for example, and it may not necessarily be a food store. It may be a shoe store. It may be some other product that they're promoting. Are you saying that even though their budget is smaller than a sports authority in the U.S. or I'm thinking a Foot Locker here in the Bahamas, that they too can still get traction and get company through cost-effective ways?
Definitely. There's a lot of small businesses here that mainly operate just off of Facebook. Just word of mouth on Facebook. E-Sounds, Margaret is here. She Facebook, word of mouth. That's it.
And one of the points on branding, particularly, is that the brand really is a promise to whomever you're presenting it to, and once you fulfill that brand promise, then you would have strengthened your brand strength. So in other words, McDonald's, I don't think in the near future or the distant future is ever going to sell pizza, because you already know McDonald's as the Golden Arches, the Big Mac, and the sandwich with the shredded lettuce. You know that. And they will go against their brand promise to you.
Right.
If they started to sell a food choice like pizza. And so if you have a brand like a mom and pop store, you separate yourself from a Super Value, or you separate yourself from whomever else, whether it's Abaco Markets or whatever. And people will come to you for that particular separation, because they know they cannot get that anywhere else. And every time they see your logo, anytime they see a line of ad copy from you, whether it's in a newspaper or wherever, whatever that brand promise is to your customers, they will remember, this is the brand promise and this is the only place I can get that. And so you will get those particular customers coming to you for that particular purpose.
And it's also important to understand the culture in which, and your target market, which is very important as well, because if I'm, trying to appeal to a more corporate client, why am I going to brand myself any more I don't
Ghetto.
know.
Relaxed.
Well, why would I brand my company as such? So that's also important. Understanding your target market and who you're trying to appeal to.
Mm-hmm. So this world of social media is something that makes sense for every company, every cause, for every event, and that I don't have to spend $1 million. When we come back, here are the things that matter. I'll continue my conversation. In fact, our last break, how quickly time is going. We want to engage you in the conversation, so let me share those numbers with you. 323-8160, 323-6232. As we talk about a few things, one of which, to what extent did social media and marketing decide the 2012 general elections? Was it just on the issues? Or really just how effectively folks were able to promote their message? How can social media make or break your business, your event, or your cause? How to go about actually taking advantage of the power of social media? And then also, one of the questions I'm going to ask my special guests in studio today: how can we use, in a practical way, social media to help heal our country? I'll go to each of them: Antonio Abram, Believe Glanatsis, and, of course, Kenneth Munkern, and find out from them individually what specific thing. It's a YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever kind of method they'll use, but one way to use the power of social media to help bring our country back together post the general elections 2012. When we come back, we'll hear from you. Guardian Talk Radio 96.9.
Life's journey can be unpredictable. Each turn in the road brings its own challenges. At Kalina, we offer straightforward life, health, and financial planning that can put your life on a secure path to success. Kalina can help you achieve a balance between living your life to the fullest today and saving for a bright future tomorrow. Enhance your quality of life and secure your family's financial future with Kalina. Life, health, mortgage, investments, retirement. Kalina. Confidence for life.
Every day, ProTech is there for our customers with an easy way to arm and disarm your system. With our professional operators and technicians on standby 24 hours per day to assist with any emergency, whether it's fire, burglary, flood, or medical emergency, we are there when you need us most. Call now at 325-3335 and receive a free quote and save 20% on any basic alarm or CCTV system. ProTech Security, where customer security is our surety.
I called Protect Security for an alarm system because my neighbors had a break-in, but Protect protected me from more than just burglaries. You see, I was at a meeting when the fire started, and fortunately for me, Protect received the signal and called the fire department, saving my home and the most important things in it.
Call Protect Security at 325-3335 for your free home security evaluation today. Protect Security, where customer security is our surety.
Whether you're a small business with a pension plan or an individual planning your retirement, you need the best financial advice and partner you can get, especially in these turbulent times. That partner is CFAL. Our pension and retirement plans offer portability, professional management, low fees, multiple investment options, insurance benefits, and much, much more. Call CFAL today at 502-7010 to get us working for you. Pensions and retirement plans. Another reason why CFAL should be your lifetime financial partner.
Welcome back to the Things That Matter, the voice of the community and social change in the Bahamas. I'm Kirk Johnson here on Guardian Radio 96.9. On Tuesdays, we focus on business. It's Talk Your Business Tuesdays, and today, to what extent did social media and marketing decide the 2012 general elections, and how can social media make or break your business, your event, or your cause? Now, before we find out how we can get in touch with our social media pundits, and certainly the experts here in studio, that in the person of Antonio Abram, Believe Glanatsis, and Kenneth Moncur, we first want to find out what platform they would use. One specific method would they use through social media to help heal our country. But just before that, I was supposed to go to the telephone line, and I know my producer John Lee Ferguson was telling me that we had someone waiting on the line. So my apology. Let's do that very quickly. 323-6232 and 323-8160. It's amazing how quickly time goes by, and certainly an engaging conversation. Things That Matter. Welcome to the show. How are you? Okay, so we're going to continue with our conversation. I will begin with Antonio. And what specific social media method would you use to help stimulate a cohesive Bahamas, help heal the wounds, and encourage togetherness? What specific method?
Around the same time I got the idea for I Love School Days, an idea came to mind about a campaign. Nothing business oriented. It's just a campaign to raise awareness for whatever. And what I wanted to do is to enlighten the people that it's better to be righteous. And the campaign's name was going to be Bahamas for Righteousness. And I don't have a problem saying that over the airways, because if somebody takes the idea, then I'll be happy. Because they still would be getting the message out. And Bahamas for Righteousness. And what I would do is use not just social media, but use social media as the meeting point, and use mediums and get a bunch of personalities like chemists, like Believe, like yourself, like other persons that I know in the media world, to really push this idea of Bahamas for Righteousness, because the reality is the Bible says that righteousness exalts a nation. And so once you push that message, then the young people will need to gravitate to it, because they need to live righteously as well as persons that are married. They need to stay and get rid of all of this sweetheart and foolishness. and everybody, from the young persons to the politicians to the teachers and the leaders, everybody need to live a righteous life. And so that social media would be the meeting point. And I was thinking about 8 to 12 months just to run that campaign. T-shirts for free. If somebody would support the campaign, run ads on the television, public service announcements, just Bahamas for Righteousness. And you do that on a consistent basis, so hopefully people are enlightened to the fact that, hey, you need to live righteously. I mean, nobody's perfect, because all have sinned and fall short. But there's still some level of righteousness that we're going to be accountable for at the end of the day.
I like that idea. That's a great idea, by the way. We're looking for causes here are the things that matter. Just before I connect with Believe.
I'm like, hold on, I don't even know what to say now.
Let's go straight to the line. The things that matter. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kirk. How you doing?
Hey, I'm excellent.
Sorry, but I could have to do it.
No, that's fine. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm fine. It's going to be a very excellent show.
Thank you.
And good afternoon to the guests.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
It's a joy to have you all in the studio. I took advantage of the social media. I worked with the afternoon campaign. And I agree with you that, and I'm surprised to know that, but not surprised that TFE was ahead. Because what I think the afternoon was not doing is jumping into different rooms. Like I told him that he should have gone to different rooms, because I remember going into the, I'm sure you all know about live stream.
Yes. Live stream and Ustream, yes.
Yeah, and Ustream, right. I was jumping in those rooms, and you got DNA was in those rooms, you got PLP was there in those rooms, and hidden issues, and no afternoon was in those rooms. Even the conventional media, more PLPs and all of you was calling in to talk shows, and less after them. Because my part was on public relations.
Yes.
I was doing more the other part of my network. But my network was monitoring. What I monitor was more CRP, hidden serious issues. But what I think now, gentlemen, would need to happen. None should now let down. They now could be the opposition because you got to hold this party, and it's the best time to hit. Don't wait till 5 years. Be the hitter. Have your discussions on the various rooms. I'm sure you all heard about Google You.
So on
you heard about that one?
Google You?
Yeah, that's similar to your Facebook.
Google You. I'm gonna look for that one.
I'm always in there, and I'm always having these discussions. The time needed now is not physical now. The time needed is virtual.
So town meetings can now be on Facebook or Google You or YouTube or Ustream, live stream.
Exactly.
And we can bring 100,000 people together without physically looking. I mean,
exactly.
Well, you actually can physically look to an extent too, but without physically being in the same space.
Correct. That's right. Because you also got 4G with the cell phone.
And the cell phones now. Yes, we have 4G in the country.
My network people were sending me information from the rallies. They were typing their stories on their cell phone as they speak.
Wow.
They was typing the propaganda, what is nonsense, and so on. Just the time to start out. Don't forget now, PLP say in 100 days. If they don't deliver in 100 days, you can discuss that in the social network.
Listen,
it's awesome. Go ahead.
But I wish you would call earlier, man. But no, I wish I had come to you earlier. My apology.
Yeah. I hit you for that. Actually, let me give you a break.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man.
Let me close with that.
Because we only have 30 seconds.
Sure, I do have my network, and one of these days I will come on your show and talk about it.
Yes,
but
please.
That's the money is.
Please drop me a note on my Facebook page. I just launched my Kirk Johnson Worldwide is one I've always had.
I got you.
But I just launched a new one. It's called The Things That Matter 242, as inspired by the social media pundits around me.
And once again, I'm your pumpkin, and that's my network.
Hey, thank you very much, my brother. We only have 60 seconds, so we're going to... I see my producers indicating that time is going. So, Galanis, if you will... I'm sorry. Believe.
I did it wrong.
I'm sorry. That's the pressure. I was practicing all day. But in 30 seconds, how would you like to harness the power of social media? As my producer tells me how much time that I have.
To heal?
Yes.
I mean, I like the idea that Antonio had, but I think it's already started on Facebook with things like people are creating posters that say One Bahamas. It's now all about the aqua, the gold, and the black. You know what I mean? It's not about red, yellow, and green.
That indeed.
Yellow. I got it right.
Well, green, okay.
I was like, hold on.
Oh, yeah, okay, there it
Sounds
is.
like a stoplight.
I know, I was confused.
Kenneth Munker, I know we've got to go. So this is what I want you to do.
Sure.
How do we find you? On Facebook, online, and by telephone, and then we're going to move quickly around the room.
All right. Use your favorite search engine, Google. You can search for Chemist, KEMIS.net, or Lionfish Marketing Group. You can find us on Facebook, searching the same terms, as well as Twitter.
Excellent.
On all the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it's just eSounds Marketing.
eSounds Marketing.
I Love School Days on Facebook, or you could text us at 456-2816, 456-2816.
And what I will do a little later today, I will post their contacts on the Things That Matter 242 and Kirk Johnson Worldwide. With that, I thank you for allowing us to engage and inform you on this Talk Your Business Tuesdays here on the Things That Matter, the voice of the community and social change in the Bahamas. We are just a moment away from news headlines. My thanks to my producer, John Lee Ferguson, for making sure that we flowed well today. Also to our partners, Kalina, Protect Security, and CFAL. I'm Kirk Johnson. Until we meet again, remember, know where you're going and get there.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.